I bet most of you didn't know that in 2021, Hoyoverse launched its own dating sim. The dating sim, you might ask? Tears of Themis. The premise of the game was fairly simple. It was a romance detective mobile game where you play as a rookie female defense attorney in the city of Stelis, solving cases by collecting evidence, interrogating suspects, and presenting arguments in court, all while having to keep relationships with the four male love interests. The four male love interests were Luke, Artem, Ben, and Marius. Marius being my personal favorite. Each of them having the stereotypical personality otome games typically have for their male love interest. Though the story was interesting, I did find the gameplay a bit lacking, but that's just my personal opinion. Type of battle mechanics the game had was fairly simple as well. You played a card turn-based game. If I recall correctly, you had to prove the lies that your opponent was telling, and you would have your cards at the bottom that would help you. Hoyoverse thought the game would do really well in the market, but with the events and the updates not giving it much of a oomph, it didn't really do as well as I thought. After that, the advertising became kind of non-existent for the game, and the player base did fall off. For Hoyoverse, they make millions, damn near billions, I might as well say, for their games, but in the more recent years, Tears of Themis only made $3.55 million at its peak month in July of 2025, while Lads peaked at $68 million for the month of July alone. Okay, now I know what you're thinking. Celestia, that's not really fair to compare Lads to, Tears of Themis. I get it. One is a 3D interactive game and the other is a 2D interactive game. And I believe they use live 2D rigging to make their characters move, if I am right. But for Hoyoverse, that isn't a really good amount for them to make. If you think about it, Genshin made $42 million in July. Sure, the game is making enough to stay afloat for now, but I'm not sure Hoyoverse will go on giving it the attention that it truly needs to keep people interested. Take Honkai Impact 3rd, for example. They only made about $1 million in July. Sure, that's a lot of money, but they haven't given it very many updates and hardly any attention, and after the main story ended, it's kind of going downhill. But that is a different tangent for another video. Anyway, where did Hoyoverse go wrong with Tears of Themis? Honestly, the gameplay and the interactions with the love interest is where I think they may have gone wrong. I found the gameplay to be lacking and a bit boring at times, and I didn't feel the need to grind for the story nor for the cards. It was way too repetitive for me. But Star, Lads is also super repetitive and boring and grindy. Okay, sure, I get your point, but I feel like the battle mechanics are way more interesting, in my personal opinion. I feel like the interactions with the love interest are way too surface level and are basically the same as any other otome game. Take Lads, for example. They truly broke through the market past basic interactions and made it pretty fun to poke and tease the boys. I mean, the way that they could swat at you back or laugh or whatever they do. I mean, the more you level up their affection, the more interactions you get with them, like them biting your hand for Silas, for example, or chasing you, or just doing really cute stuff. I will say that Tears of Themis does have some pretty cute interactions for the boys. I did enjoy them. But I know this video sounds pretty negative and also me picking at Tears of Themis, but it truly isn't a bad game at all. When it first released globally back in 2021, I was hooked on it and the love interest in the story. The designs for each of the guys were really pretty, and they do have interesting personalities, I will say, even if they are stereotypical. The story was engaging for the first part of it, and the cards with their art are stunning, and Hoyoverse is honestly never lacking in the visuals department. It does have the typical Hoyoverse art style, but I mean, come on, it's a Hoyoverse love interest game. Did you not think that they were going to do that? It also does have the texting call feature that Mystic Messenger brought to the otome scene, which is some of my favorite things about otome games, because I really feel like you can see the characters' personalities and little quirks poke through when they're texting and calling you. I also will say the voice acting for this game is amazing. The Japanese and Chinese dub was gorgeous, and I'm not sure if they have in English yet. I haven't really played it since. Versus Lads, they don't use AI, which I'm pretty sure Lads has been accused of using AI, and I don't think Tears of Themis does. So that is a bonus. But besides that, anyone in the fan base will tell you that the game is worth a try. The game has accumulated a pretty ride or die fan base, and they are extremely loyal. They will defend this game to the end. Now, I do think that the game is worth a try if you're into mysteries and solving things like that. It is kind of fun. But if you're expecting Lads quality and story level, it won't be there. All in all, I do think that if you like Otamo games, you should give it a try and download it because they really do need the boost. Anyway, if you guys like this video and you want to see more like it about me going to depth about different gacha games or Otamo games, make sure to follow me and hit the sub button. I also stream Otamo games and a bunch of different games on Twitch, which is linked down below as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a fantastical day.